You've figured out that this is not a solo run. You're going to need to bring somebody in, and we're going to bring somebody into the home, the safe, comfortable place that somebody feels is theirs, their stuff, your stuff. And all of a sudden, it gets really important to think about this before you do it. We want to pre-plan this a little bit because this could make or break this working, frankly. So the very first and most important thing you want to think about is who is the person that you're providing this support and care for? What do you know about them? Are they more of an introvert or an extrovert? In other words, do they like to be in control of everything, or they love to get connected? When you like to be in control, it means you want to control things, and you always need each day for wellness space for yourself, and you don't want other people around for a while. So you want to think about that as you're building in who's coming, and are they going to be a chatterer and an invader, or do we need somebody who's going to be real tuned into that? If you like to connect, I hope the person who's coming in loves to connect too, because there's going to be a lot of connecting going on. Maybe you want to think about whether this person is a detail person or a big picture person. In other words, do they want to know how this is going to happen or why this is happening? You want to plan to have a conversation about it that takes that need for knowing into account. What kind of questions do they want answered? How questions or why questions? Then we also want to think, how much do they like to plan ahead versus just live in the moment? And if you like to live in the moment, then not talking about it too far in advance is a good idea. If you like to plan ahead, then somebody wants to know in advance before something happens so that there's no surprises. And finally, you really want to think, is this person a heart first person, a head first person? Are they want somebody who thinks it's fair, it's just, it's equal, it makes sense? Or is it somebody who wants to feel good about something and they want somebody else to feel good about something? And we can use that heart connection to make this work. That's just the first part of trying to figure out how you're going to bring help in, is knowing the person that you're going to be providing this support and help for. And you also want to think about yourself if you're involved in that same home situation. And then you want to know what your options actually are out there. Look around before you start so you sort of know what your choices are, so you don't offer choices that aren't going to work out. And you may want to think beyond what you typically might think about. You might want to think about technology as much as people, and you may want to think about individuals as much as companies. I mean, it's really something you want to think through and work through before you get too far into this so that you make good choices about the offer. Then you want to really take that third piece and recognize, so what is it this person, do you think at least, needs? And how are they feeling about that? Is that a good match? Like they think they need it too versus, they don't want it. They don't even like the idea. So knowing where your person is coming from, do they like the idea of someone coming in? Do they want somebody in there? Do they even think they need somebody or not? Because until we get them closer to recognizing this is something that we think is needed, it's unlikely they're going to get real excited and like it. So we've got to go through a period where this is hard, and you want to recognize that this is hard. This is hard having somebody in your home. It's hard to change. Change is actually very hard because you're having to grow new synapses, build new habits, build somebody into your routine in your home. Very different. You've got to have somebody in your space that's not usually in your space. You've got to have them there at times when there's not usually somebody there at that time. So you want to make sure that you're offering this or this choices that are within the boundaries of what you find okay. And here's a real important thing. We're going to try it. I want us to try this. This is really hard. I want us to try this, and I want us to try it for at least 2 months. Why 2 months? Because that's how long it takes for new synapses to form and actually be helpful and be the thing that you just do without thinking so much about it. 2 months. 2 months is how brains rewire themselves and get used to something, and then build a new habit for it. Also consider the idea of baby steps, little bits at a time. Don't try to eat a whole birthday cake, it'll just make you sick. If you're really wanting to make things work well, think about one piece at a time and try a bite and see how it feels and how it works for 2 months. And then finally, prepare to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was trying to help. I don't think it helped. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you angry. I'm sorry I frustrated you. I'm sorry I embarrassed you. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to help. It just didn't work out. I'm sorry I treated you like you couldn't get it, you couldn't understand. I treated you like less. Or I'm sorry that happened. That shouldn't have happened. And finally, I'm sorry, this is really hard and I hate it for you. Because when you're saying someone needs help in their home, you're saying you're not as independent as you think you are. So consider it. How would you feel if someone was coming into your life to help you? Oh, I am. Hopefully I did okay.